Welcome back, sports fans, to another episode of Off the Cuff with Monte and Geoff. As we talked about on our last episode, we're excited to be back and doing this again. We kind of had about a 2-month break there.
We are back, baby.
We are back. I think that's a line out of The Hangover. Have you seen The Hangover?
I have.
Oh, it's a funny movie. We are back.
And the Galifianakis says it, right? It's been a while since I've seen it,
yeah. So we're back talking sports like we always do. Monty and I had discussed as we were coming up with topics for this, how much we enjoyed. We had done maybe a couple episodes where we just came in. Each of us had a separate set of questions. We had a topic, had some questions. The other person doesn't know what the questions are.
Nope.
And so we're truly going off the cuff, and we have to answer the questions on the spot. I don't have a problem if you need to think about one to maybe...
I will need to think about the answer. I guarantee you that. Well, it depends what the question is. But
sure.
Jen, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to need some time probably.
Sure.
So I'll try not to stammer too much. But,
No, that's okay. I think that's part of the fun of it, is
Okay.
that you don't have a huge amount of time to think. So.
But Jeff asked me to ask him the first question, though. So
Yes.
with no further ado here, here's my first question.
All right, I'm ready.
We're in the middle of the NBA playoffs right now.
Okay.
So, who do you like in the NBA playoffs and why?
The NBA playoffs are going on, huh? Okay, so I don't follow the NBA.
Do you know who's in it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So it used to be that probably in the last 10 years, what I did follow the NBA, it seemed like the Western Conference was the stronger conference. As far as when you got to, the playoffs, it usually, there were 10 or 12 teams that were above 500. The East might have 5 or 6 above 500. And then the last 2 were usually below 500.
Yeah.
I think the East has kind of started to become a little bit stronger.
I think they're rated stronger now, yeah.
Yeah, as time goes on.
Yeah.
When you're in years past, you think the Warriors. The Warriors have been kind of I don't want to say a dynasty. They're not as good this year.
Close. They're down 0-2 right now.
Yeah, I know.
To
The Sacramento Kings. I know. And then
that is one of the strangest things I've ever said in my life.
And then Draymond's suspended for Game 3.
Oh, I heard something interesting the other day about that. Sorry,
no, that's
bring
okay.
up the question. But there's the coach of the Sacramento Kings is Mike Brown. He used to coach the Cavaliers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 playoff wins for the Kings. He's second in their history for playoff wins.
The guy that was first would have been with Chris Webber, and
I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of his name, but
it's not Carlissimo, is it?
No, it's not Carlissimo. I can't think of his name. If I heard it, I would know it, but I can't think of it.
Okay, I'd have to look that one up because I don't know.
But I thought that was fascinating.
That is
2
crazy.
playoff wins, number 2,
and he's number 2 in the history of the Kings.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts. Honestly, if I'm going off the cuff here, I think I'm leaning a little bit towards the Boston Celtics.
The A team.
Yeah, I don't follow NBA as much as I should. I do tend to follow them more during the playoffs, just because it seems like they care more. There's
It's a totally different level of basketball.
It is, and there's some intensity there, and so just if you had to ask me my gut feeling, I would probably go with the Celtics.
I like that answer because that's my favorite team.
Is it really?
It is. I've been a Boston fan since probably 1980. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. So if I was going to ask you that same question, what would you say? Because we talked about this, about how when we're coming up with these questions, we kind of answer them in our head, how we would answer them.
That's definitely who I'm going to be rooting for. But there's some other teams I wouldn't mind seeing win as well. One of them would be the Clippers. I would really love the Clippers, see the Clippers win a title.
Does Kawhi still play for them?
He does. He's out tonight with a knee injury.
Okay.
So that's going to hurt their chances. And I kind of root for the 76ers as well, because I like Doc Rivers as a coach.
Oh, yeah. I like Doc Rivers.
I kind of root for Doc as well. Yeah. So when he was with the Clippers, that was really perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But ultimately, I'd have to go with the Celtics, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be my choice as well, because it's my favorite team.
And you just wanted to copy me.
It was a good answer,
Well, I've never been told that before. So, no, it just, I think that just from what I've seen, I think Boston has a solid chance. So
yeah, and they came close last year, and I think they want to finish it.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
All right. Question number 1 for Monty.
Oh boy.
So, if you could meet, and I'm not saying any time frame. Time frame doesn't matter. So
Okay.
you could go back in time. It could be now.
Okay.
If you could meet one sports figure, any sports figure, and spend 15 minutes to half an hour, maybe eat a meal with him, who would it be?
You know, it's funny. You're going to find this question very interesting when I ask my next one. I'm just going to say that right now. But, oh gosh, let me think. Any sports figure? There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So there's so many. I've always found the story of Jim Thorpe fascinating.
Yeah.
And he's got to be right up there. Does Ben-Hur count?
Technically, it's racing. I guess suppose.
Okay,
I don't think they had a professional circuit then.
Well, they weren't paid either. Probably,
No,
were they?
probably
It's like
not.
Play or die.
Or die. That's exactly right.
I'm going to go Jim Thorpe
Okay.
just to have a unusual answer.
Yeah.
But again, there could be, there are so many I would like to do that with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, good.
What about you?
You know, my gut would say, my first thought would be Cal Ripken. But I have a thing about meeting your heroes.
Right.
Part of me thinks that you shouldn't meet your heroes from the standpoint of you have them kind of built up in your head
Because they
in a
don't
certain
go down after
in
that.
a certain way, and I would hate to meet him and have him not be a very nice guy, which I don't think he is. I think by most accounts that I've read, he's a pretty nice guy. But
Yeah.
but so honestly, the one that I would kind of like to meet, and it's weird because I don't like this sport necessarily, I'd like to meet Muhammad Ali.
Oh. Muhammad would be cool too.
Just back in the day when he was still good.
He was awesome.
Never seen somebody that Mike Tyson was close to his dominant, but not at the level of
He wasn't
Muhammad.
quite, his personality was a lot different.
Yes.
You know, definitely.
Yes.
But yeah.
Well, Ali would come into a match or into a boxing match and say, "I'm going to knock him out in this round," and boom.
And he'd write a poem about it.
I know. I know.
I mean, a boxer writing poems?
I
What
know.
kind of world is this?
I know, it's crazy. So I'd go Muhammad Ali.
Good answer. All right. Now you're going to see what I was referring
Sure.
to. Because I had a very, God, you know what? I'm going to adjust my question just a little bit.
Okay.
Because I pretty much had the same exact question.
Did you?
Only I'm going to say, which baseball sports personality, past or present, would you like to have supper with?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I should have come up with a different question.
no, you shouldn't have, because this goes into my next question. It's like we wrote these with each other. You want to know who I would absolutely think would be a ball to have dinner
I know
with?
what my answer is, but yeah.
Bob Uecker.
Oh, I never thought of him. He would be awesome too.
Wouldn't he be awesome to have?
He would be great.
He would be awesome to have a meal with.
So I was going to say Babe Ruth.
Oh well, Babe
I'd
Ruth.
love to have supper with Babe Ruth. That would be great.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, because he was a drinker and a smoker and
Carouser.
Yeah, he just
larger than life.
Yeah, absolutely, he was, and he had this status, but again, kind of like Ali, he'd go out on the field and back it up. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the Babe Ruth. I like that.
So, I can't live with the same question.
I know. Okay, so my question is a little different, but it leads into what you said.
Okay.
So my next one is, it doesn't matter what sport it is.
Okay.
Who is your favorite sports broadcaster? Because I have one on almost every level, which is crazy, but.
I guess I'm almost going to have to go with Howard Cosell.
That was one of them.
Because when I was younger watching him, I thought he was kind of annoying and everything else. But as I look back, I'm thinking, God, that was good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because how he dealt with Muhammad Ali, and he did Monday Night Football too.
He did.
I believe.
Yeah.
He just made it more entertaining.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I love announcers that have knowledge, can put that knowledge out there without being super obnoxious,
right?
But can also relate to the common person. Like I said, Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker's good, and John Madden was another favorite of mine too.
John Madden.
I love John Madden.
But like I think of John Madden, I think of Bob Uecker, and like you said, Howard Cosell. They had a way of explaining what was going on, They had a little flair to them, but like Bob Uecker is like one of the most self-deprecating people you ever. If you read anything about him, he was always making fun of how bad he was at baseball. He was a major leaguer, mind you. I mean, he wasn't bad at baseball
compared to his contemporaries. Maybe. I don't know.
Exactly. But then you have who did you say? Yeah, now we're completely blank. John Madden. But he just the way he ran the teleprompter and
turducken.
Yeah, I mean,
and the all Madden team just stuff like that. That was revolutionary at the time.
Absolutely, and he just had a way of bringing you right into the game.
And he was the old coach of the Raiders too. That also helped.
Yeah, it helped somebody. It didn't help me.
It helped me.
But yeah, I mean, and the thing when I was coming up with this question, the thing that made me think about it is, like I said, I have almost at every level. I have. An announcer that I really have enjoyed. Like Nebraska has always been Kent Pathelka for me. I know
Lyle
Bremser was a little before my time.
Man, woman, and child.
Exactly. When Johnny Rogers ran that punt back.
Yep.
I think of Keith Jackson calling college football games.
And I thought about him too.
He was great. And I'm drawing a blank. I have the name in my head. The guy that always does the NBA playoffs.
Marv
Albert.
Marv Albert, okay.
Yeah. And then you have like Jim Nance that does the NCAA tournament. This was his last year. They're just certain names and certain people that just stand out. Vin Scully. For the Dodgers.
But the thing about Vin is I never heard him a whole lot because he was radio.
Right. He was radio.
TV.
Yep.
And so you had to be almost either on the radio in that market or
hear a broadcast somehow.
Yeah, rebroadcast it or something. Yeah.
He kind of had a face like we do. A face that was perfect for radio.
No doubt. But he was a better storyteller than us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, just lots of people that I think of when I think of announcers. So.
Those are all good ones. All really good ones. All right. This is a tough one.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Can you name the top? This is looking into the future.
Okay.
Can you name the top 3 starting quarterbacks for Nebraska this fall? In order, 1, 2, and 3.
My God, this is crazy.
And I have a second part to that question too, but I'll go first.
If we did the same question, I'm going to absolutely, because I didn't write my questions down. Monty doesn't even know. I don't have a sheet here. I have nothing.
I have a sheet.
Okay, so top 3 quarterbacks.
Top 3 quarterbacks. Who's going to be our starting quarterback? Who's going to be backup? Who's going to be the third string?
Okay, because this is going to go into your question, just so you know.
Okay,
so I actually have Jeff Sims starting.
Do you? Jeff Sims, okay.
I have Harburg
second. No kidding.
And I have Smothers third.
Really? No Thompson?
I have him transferring.
And you may be right.
I just don't know. The thing that gets me with this is the fact
you said
that
Smothers is 3 though.
I said Smothers is third.
And no Purdy either then.
No. I was not impressed with Purdy.
He didn't play well last fall.
No, he didn't.
He really didn't.
No.
But
and it wasn't.
It's fast.
He is fast.
I can't believe how fast he is.
They had...
Not as fast as Harvard.
Not as fast as Harvard, no. Not as fast as Harvard. But I think it says something that rule went out when we had a quarterback already a returning starter, that he probably had to know he was coming back in Thompson, and he went out and got another quarterback that had been a 3-year starter at another Division I school.
And he's been looking good from what I heard.
That's what I've heard too. So
and Thompson's sitting out.
Yeah,
mostly.
because he's rehabbing an injury. But
right.
But yeah, so yeah. That's kind of where I'm sitting at.
Interesting.
And the reason I have some others as 3 is that I don't think he'll transfer. I don't think he's that kind of a kid.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to play a whole lot though.
No,
quite honestly, I don't think his arm's good enough.
That's exactly.
He should move to wide receiver, is what I think.
Probably, and I'm not going to disagree with you. And Rule has flat out said he's not opposed to putting players at different positions.
He's already done it.
I know he's got 2 or 3 guys that he has wearing gray jerseys in practice that are moving around.
Rollins is that one.
He
was a tight end. Now he's D-end. And he loves it, sounds like.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, then the second part to my question is also related to the Nebraska football team is, can you predict what their record is going to be next fall?
My gosh, we haven't done this for so long, but we're still like in each other's head. Okay, I actually looked at this, and I'm going to say we're going to be 8-4.
8-4?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yes, I looked at that. I think we win.
That's more than I would have thought.
Well, I think we come out and I think we beat Minnesota. We play Minnesota in the first game.
So bad.
I do too, because I cannot stand PJ. You know how I feel about PJ.
Yeah, me too.
Minnesota lost a lot. They lost Ibrahim, their number 2 back, that Trey Potts transferred to Penn State.
They lost their starting quarterback.
Starting quarterback, that Morgan, but they have that Callie McNannis or whatever it is. He came in the second half against Nebraska and played pretty well.
Oh,
but
that's right. Yes, couldn't remember his name, but yeah,
and I butchered it because it's spelled or it's pronounced differently than that. But I think we beat Minnesota. I think we beat Colorado.
God, I hope so.
I'm not buying into the Dion hype yet. He's bringing a lot of guys from a lower division.
I think next year maybe
a year,
but this year that'd be tough.
Well, and like I said, he's bringing a lot of kids from Jacksonville State in that level, which is fine. I'm not saying they're not athletic. I'm not saying they're not an upgrade to what Colorado had.
Right.
But I think it's going to take them 4 or 5 games to get used to the speed of Division I football and the physicality, especially.
Yeah.
They play third. They play Northern Illinois. I think they beat Northern Illinois.
And they should, yeah.
I think they beat Louisiana Tech. So if we could start 4-0, that's a good. We're halfway there.
Yeah.
Play Michigan. We're not going to beat Michigan more than likely.
More than likely not. Because it's up there too.
It's there. No, it's actually here because we played them there last year.
Okay.
Illinois. I think we can beat Illinois. Just from the standpoint of they're losing a lot from this year's team. Now, Bielema has them already. I don't like him, but he's a good coach.
He seems to have his team ready to play us every time we play him, no matter what team.
Whether it's Wisconsin or with Illinois.
Right.
So I kind of have I wavered on that one. I have us winning that game, so I have us at 5-1. Kind of losing track where I'm at here, 5-1, and then I think we play Northwestern. So I think we win that game.
We should
6-1. We should have beat them last year. There's no reason we shouldn't have 6-1 or 5-1, whatever. Michigan State kind of is a toss-up to me because it's there. Then we play Maryland at home. I think we can win that game, but we got to play well. Then we finish with Iowa and Wisconsin. So I could see us actually starting 4-2, losing to Michigan, losing to Illinois, beating Wisconsin, be 5-2, beating Michigan State 6-2, losing to Purdue because for some reason we can't beat Purdue.
They've got a new coach too,
and they do.
So
losing to Wisconsin because we can't beat Wisconsin either, and it's there. And then I think we'll beat Iowa again. So
that's pretty impressive. That would be sweet to have.
I don't know. I would take it.
I was going to predict either 6-6 or 7-5.
Okay.
That's because I would have been happy with either one of those.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
Yeah. I think our offensive line will be improved. I have been encouraged by the fact, like the last couple of years, it seems like in spring ball and fall ball, it's, offense is moving up and down the field. And it's like, well, that's because our defense isn't playing very well, obviously.
Yeah.
But this year, it seems like the scrimmages are basically, they're kind of back and forth. They want to win one time, want to win the next, which is good.
It is.
We've learned that you have to have a stout defense in the Big Ten.
And I think our defense is going to be our problem next year.
Yes.
I think we've got some studs, but just learning that new system is going to be a lot of learning curves.
Yeah, there is. So
I'm fully supportive of them, of course, but I'm a little leery how well they're going to be in the first year. So we'll see what happens.
I'm hopeful. I'm starving for a Husker winning team.
Yeah, winning season would be just.
Wouldn't that be just like we won the national championship if we made it to a bowl?
It would be.
Can you imagine 15 years ago thinking, man, just making it a bowl
I never would have believed it.
I wouldn't have believed it either.
Yeah,
although you could kind of see the slight decline as years went on. But
yeah.
So
I still would have believed it back then.
I know. So, okay, well that brings me to my question, and like I said, it's crazy that you and I were this close on all of the questions and didn't share. I mean, we honestly did not share anything about it.
We didn't. We didn't even talk. We just said questions. We said we're gonna have sports questions. That's all we said.
It's crazy. Okay, so my question: quarterback room for the Huskers. This weekend is the Nebraska Red-White game, spring game. Okay, there are 5 quarterbacks that they're really mentioning a lot right now.
Okay.
Jeff Sims, Casey Thompson, Heinrich Harburg, that Torres.
Oh, Torres, I'm sure.
Richard Torres, and Logan Smothers. Those are the 5.
And 2 aren't playing, though.
Right. So you have Smothers and you have Thompson that are out right now because of shoulder injuries.
Or is it Purdy, too?
Is Purdy out too?
I think Purdy's out.
He's in there, so that'd be the 6th one. Okay,
yeah.
So there's 6.
Yeah.
6 basically ones. It's very rare to have 6 scholarship quarterbacks on a team.
Absolutely.
I think that's almost unheard of. So in my mind, we're going to lose some after this spring.
Or have a position change.
But
lose them for the quarterback.
Okay, so that brings another thing into this question.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through each one, and I want you to tell me Do they stay? Do they transfer? Do they change positions?
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with Casey Thompson.
I think he stays.
Think he stays?
I think he stays.
Do you think he wins the starting job?
I think it's going to be a really tough decision, and no, I don't think he will. Actually,
Okay.
I do think Sims will get the starting job.
Okay, so then Geoff Sims. So obviously you think he stays and probably wins the starting job.
Yes, I think so. I mean, if Thompson was it, I'd be okay with that too.
Okay, Heinrich Harburg.
I think he stays, and I think his future is really bright here.
Okay.
The only thing that's going to shine his or dim his shine a little bit is if Rayola comes here, and then of course Rayola is going to be the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, Harburg. If Rayola doesn't come here, I think there's a really good chance that Harburg could be our quarterback in the future.
I don't disagree with that. So then you have Richard Torres.
Torres, boy, I would expect him to transfer.
Yep, and I don't want to say I'm disappointed because I've read a lot of things that say he has the most zip on the ball of everybody. Like has the strongest
arm. He's like 6'6" too, right?
He's a big kid. Yeah, strongest arm of the group. I just think he's buried on the depth chart. I don't know how he gets up there.
Well, he was recruited by Frost too.
Yeah,
right.
He was.
So our staff they're not as invested in him. As sad as it is to say, that's just how it works.
It is.
A lot of times.
It is.
It's really nothing against the kid.
Yeah.
He's a great kid.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think I have. If Sims wins the starting job, I have Thompson transferring. But we may not know that until the fall. And so maybe Thompson sticks it out, which we've shown that you need to have two good quarterbacks.
Right.
It's just the big
because they're going to run the quarterbacks.
They are going to run the quarterback a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So then Logan Smothers.
I think Smothers changes positions.
It's funny that you said that and brought that up because I didn't even think about that. But I think you're right.
He's fast.
He is super fast.
And, he did a decent job when he played last year. But it seemed like something was missing yet. So
yeah, I think arm strength and arm accuracy. I think that's the two big things with him. I think he's got a lot of football acumen. I think he's super fast. I think he understands the offense.
It seems like a great kid too.
Yeah, but
I think they're all great kids.
Well, yeah, I know. Okay, so then and then Purdy.
Purdy's he's a hard one for me to figure out.
You mentioned off camera he's really fast.
He is. He's as fast as Harburg is what I've heard.
Yeah.
I think he's going to transfer.
I would agree with you. I'm pretty sure he will.
Pretty sure.
I do think that he ends up transferring. Yeah. I think it's a situation where, and whether you like it or not, yes, they're kids, but college football is business anymore. And he got a lot of chances last year and did not perform well.
He looked the worst out of anybody last year.
I thought so too. Yeah. I thought he looked, I don't want to say scared, but over his head. Would that maybe be the right word?
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah. And so, he did have some chances. It just didn't impress me.
Right.
So,
I think he's the odd man out. One of the odd men out.
Yeah, one of the odd men out. I like that. I like that format. Maybe we should do that more. Maybe that's what our
I just
format
can't believe how we are so similar.
That is crazy.
That is.
That is really crazy.
It tells what we're both thinking about.
I know.
Top of mind stuff.
Well, it tells us that other people should be thinking like we are, because if we,
of course.
Well, yeah. So
you're wrong.
I love that format. I do. And Monty and I have been discussing things. We may look at changing formats a little bit. We might do some video stuff, but we might do some just traditional like podcast style.
We have faces made for radio.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we're thinking about that, but
not radio, but podcasting.
But podcasting, yeah, exactly. But so actually, let us know what you think. Would you prefer that we continue to do the video ones, or do you prefer just to listen to our voices? Because we know that you want to follow what we're talking about, because that's not the case.
Information is gold.
That's not the problem. So, so anyway, again, we love being back here with you. We love talking sports. Let us know what you think. Obviously, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you know when we upload new content, which hopefully is a lot more frequently than
it should be. Things are lightening up here a little bit.
I think so too. So anyway, anything else you wanted to add tonight, Monty?
I don't know what else it would be, Jeff.
All right. Well, y'all take care.
All right.
I hear that, y'all. Everybody take care. We'll see you next time.
See you later, sports fans.